we want to bring out your story on being the change maker for India's ecosystem of employability. Gurudev, everyone knows how successful Art of Living was and how you made India on the world map, recognized through the work. But you also chose to focus on employability and developing entrepreneurs. What was the thought behind that, Gurudev?
There is an old saying in Sanskrit, Bubukshata kim na karoti papam. Means, what sin will he not do, one who is hungry? Saying, people, if they are hungry, if they are unemployed, they may do any crime. It is quite but natural. And so, our rishis, our parampara, guru parampara have always said, Rase siddhe karishyami nirdharidramidam jagat. I would like to chase the poverty out of the planet. This is the job of, I think should be the job of everybody. We should fight the poverty. And how do you fight the poverty? By being productive. Either you become an entrepreneur or you take up a job for which you should be employable. So skilling on one side, another side, entrepreneurial spirit. We have been working on this quite few years. Let me narrate one incident for you, how we started this. This was in 1998. Then, when we came to this area, this ashram, there was not even a single tile roof homes in the villages. It was all huts. And nearby villages had no school and no system of education or hospital. So we started our first free school here. So 20 villages around this area to the ashram, the kids were brought to the school. Those days, parents would not send the children to school. If they cry one day, then they will say, no, don't cry. What do you have to do? It's going to school. Anyway, you have to take care of the goats and sheep and cows. You have to be a shepherd. So, but we had to convince, and we had to send buses to every home to convince the parents to send the children. So we started the school, and then we found the school has been running since 1987, 86, 87. But then after the school, what will they do? They become all unemployed. And I found out there are many more unemployed kids in the whole region. So I called the government of Karnataka, Department of Entrepreneur the director there. So he came and he gave, and I called all the youths. About 500 youths were there from around the village. And I called the government department and asked them to present, give them the possibilities, what they can do. So he presented nearly 200 different projects. And they heard everything, and they had, the boys keep negating every one of these projects. Said, this we cannot do, this we cannot do, this we cannot do. Finally, I asked them, look, what is that you want to do? Say, give me a job as a conductor of the bus. Or driver of the bus. You know, there are only 2 buses running in this road in those days. One in the morning, one in the evening. But how many conductors, drivers we can make? I said, make me a policeman. I want to get a job in the police. Then I said, this is not going to work. Then we started a program for them for 3 months we had youth leadership training program. And after that, the spirit in the young people was so high that many of them have become entrepreneurs. I mean, every one of them. And some of them got jobs, some of them became entrepreneurs and gave job to others. Then we started having this program in Uttar Pradesh, everywhere, you know. योग उद्योग दोनों साथ में चलता है. योग is making yourself capable, qualified. योग्यता शब्द has come from yoga. And udyog will bring the sustainability of life and creating wealth. Yeah.
गुरुदेव, जो आपने स्टोरी बताई उसमें एक चीज़ बहुत उभर के आई कि यूथ को एक दिशा देनी ज़रूरी है और एक एस्पिरेशन भी देना ज़रूरी है. नहीं तो अगर उनका ड्रीम होगा सिर्फ कंडक्टर बनना है तो उनको बड़ा ड्रीम किस तरह से देना, एस्पिरेशन बहुत ज़रूरी है. गुरुदेव, ये बुक देश भर के 1100 लाइब्रेरीज, 5000 कॉलेज और 3000 एम्प्लॉयर्स में बांटी जाएगी. पढ़ने वाले ज़्यादातर यूथ होंगे. हर यूथ को एक रोल मॉडल चाहिए. तो गुरुदेव, आप अपने फॉर्मेटिव ईयर्स के बारे में थोड़ा बताइए. आपको दिशा कैसे मिली? आपका सोर्स ऑफ इंस्पिरेशन क्या था?
चंद्रमा से आप पूछ सकते तुम्हारा सोर्स ऑफ लाइट क्या है. और इट ऑब्वियस है सूरज से मिलता है. अब सूरज को पूछोगे तो आपका सोर्स कहाँ है, तो थोड़ा बड़ा मुश्किल प्रश्न लगता है. मगर मैं ये कहूँगा कि हमारी चेतना में, वो स्वभाव में वो बात है. जब भी आपकी चेतना खिल जाती है तो आप में सहज ही प्राकृतिक रूप से उत्साह और ये जो इंस्पिरेशन है ना, वो रहता ही है. मोटिवेशन के लिए दूसरों की ज़रूरत है. इंस्पिरेशन के लिए हो सकता है दूसरों को देख के कोई इंस्पायर हो जाए, मगर हम अंतर्मुखी होते हैं तो सारा इंस्पिरेशन वहाँ से मिल जाता है.
बहुत अच्छी बात कही है आपने. थैंक यू गुरुदेव. Youth Leadership Program, through the Youth Leadership Program and the blessings of Gurudev, about 25 lakh youth have been touched across the country. That's a wonderful initiative, Gurudev. I would like to spend some time talking about the Sri Sri University in Odisha. Gurudev, with the resources you have and the influence you have, you could have picked any city in the country, any place in the country. Why Odisha?
अच्छा, even if I had chosen, say, Kerala or Himachal, this question will still arise, why Odisha? Well, I can find some reasons to justify. Yes, South is saturated with universities. And Gujarat may not necessarily, because that's also saturated with so many educational institutions. And I found Odisha is a ground where normally people don't go because they think it's not that viable universities there. And the standard of living was low when we started the place there. So I said that is where we need it most. And it is close to Jharkhand, where there is a lot of unrest and Naxalism was there. And also we have started many schools, free schools, in all these Naxal-affected districts and areas. So, university in Odisha just happened naturally that, yeah, we could get a land there, the government could give us the land and they supported us to start the university. So it happened. Yeah. And it was more needed there.
Thank you, Gurudev. I had the opportunity to visit the university last month. And this is a private university. Unlike most private universities where there are gleaming glass buildings and tall, swanky infrastructure and all. And now I understand why, after coming to this ashram, as to why the university was giving me a feeling of a Gurukul. If you know of someone who needs higher education, that is one place that will truly inspire. Gurudev, what was the thought behind bringing the old Gurukul style and format to the university? कुछ तो सोच रही होगी.
हाँ, जहाँ पर सिर्फ where students are not just given informations or stuffed with techniques and knowledge, but personality is made to shine. जहाँ व्यक्तित्व का निर्माण होता है, that is most important. Building the right personality, all-round personality. So, यूनिवर्सिटी में एक छोटा सा नन्ना मुन्ना सा एक एफर्ट वहाँ पर इस पर लगाया है. और वी हैव गॉट ग्रेट फैकल्टीज एंड good management we have. So one more thing with this Odisha University is what I was thinking of, bringing the East and West together. I think it was in 2008 or 7 when we heard a lot of students going abroad in Australia and UK, and we had a lot of, a lot of crime happening about the student. I think more than a dozen students lost their life in those days, and their parents were very distraught. It was whatever problems they had there, discrimination and other issues that had caused this great loss. So I thought we should provide them the best of East and best of West right here. So there are some wonderful things in the West that we need to bring to our children here. And also preserve there are wonderful things in the East that they need to inculcate. So East meets West, that was our slogan in our university. So we want to bring the best of the faculty. We started for the first time osteopathy.
Yes.
In the whole Asia, there is no osteopathy. We were the first school of osteopathy. Here, when we went to the department, education department, the medical institutions, they said, what osteopathy? So we need to explain to them, convince them. We brought experts from Europe, from America and Canada and South America. And they came and presented, and then for the first time we started this Institute of Osteopathy. Now, the osteopathy course is recognized by the state government, and osteopaths are employed in many of the hospitals there. And this is a great achievement in the sense, and it's so beneficial for people who can be treated without drugs, but as a wellness, like you have physiotherapy, and osteopathy is several notch higher than physiotherapy. And it makes people feel better and resolves many of the budding issues of health.
Ji Gurudev, you spoke about bringing West to the East and retaining what is good in the East. You are well traveled across the world. And there is a difference between being employable and being employed. India is witnessing a great demographic dividend, digital advantage, artificial intelligence. The youth needs to have a different aspiration. We can learn from the West, but India has its own unique spot. Gurudev, how can the youth carve their own unique path in India and build successful businesses and careers?
See, life is a combination of old and new. Like the tree, look at the tree there. The leaves and roots, shoots are all new. But the root is old. So like that in life, we need to retain our roots and nurture our roots, be proud of the roots. And then we also need to be more open to learning from all sides. See, our ancient people have said, Ano Badra Kratavo Yantu Vishwatam. Let knowledge flow to us from all sides. So if children are brought up with this mindset, a broad mindset wherein they want to learn more skills and adapt to their life, then they become more employable. You know, it's like a farmer doing multi-level cropping. And that also we have done this. Here we have done experiment and we are promoting this. You know, if you are depending on only one crop, suppose one crop fails and you are failure. But when you have multiple layers there, then if one crop fails, another 4 crops will yield you food. So, multiple talents are necessary and skilling is very, very important. So, we started our skill development training institute. See, we lack plumbers, we lack electricians, we lack masons. Our country is progressing very fast, but the human resources are not being properly trained and utilized. So we started our SSRDP program, Rural Development Program, in which we started Skilled Development Training Center. It's already 15 years since we are doing this. We started with Lawson and Tubro and many other companies, many other companies, we bring the youth, motivate them, they train them and they employ. And they become, many of them are self-employed also. Like for simple example, a cell phone. In a village, if the cell phone goes, if it goes wrong, they don't know how to fix it. They have to go to the nearby city. And then you give them, and many times they have to travel up and down. They spend so much money on that. So we train young people to how to repair a cell phone in their own places. So that becomes, an occupation for them. Similarly, every village can have a plumber, they have an electrician. We need drivers, we need cooks, we need beauticians and healthcare professionals. India has huge opportunity, but skilling is very, very important. So we started our skill development training centers all over the country. And it's working very well. From Kashmir to Northeast, Arunachal, South, everywhere we started this program.
There are 100 skill development centers. Gurudev, now let's talk about merging the two. Skill development and being employable and becoming an entrepreneur is very important. Earlier this evening when I was at the campus ashram, I met the head of the nursing program and he mentioned that a few nurses went to Apollo Hospital for their internship, which is very important. The doctors over there were very impressed with the discipline that these nurses exhibited. Now clearly, if this is a point of highlight, then the art of living and the discipline is also equally important when it comes to skilling. I would like to learn your thoughts on how these two can come together and it's not a trade-off, it can coexist.
It all depends on the state of mind. If one is tensed, tired, exhausted, worried, you can't expect great results from them or output from them. So we take care of the basic thing of mental wellness, mental resilience, robust mental health. Then everything follows very naturally. Why would someone is not disciplined? Because laziness. And laziness is because of the doshas in the body. Too much kapha. A person doesn't want to do anything. And mental sthana, this is called sthana in yogic science. Vyadi sthana means a sort of inertia in the mind. Low energy level. And this you find not just in workers in different levels, but also on the executive level also. The inertia just takes over people. Now we don't know what to do. People don't know how to get out of it. This is where pranayama and sudarshan kriya, all these techniques that meditation we teach, help people to really get over those.
Gurudev, there is a big debate going on in the country on where are the jobs versus where is the talent. The youth are crying for jobs, the companies are crying for talent. You have shown a way on becoming an entrepreneur and create jobs. Where did the thought come from? Because a lot of initiatives focus on creating skilled youth, but to create skilled entrepreneurs is a different path. How did you think of that path and why did you choose that path for the youth?
Well, every innovative thoughts come from somewhere. And that somewhere is the goal of everyone's spiritual journey. The source of thought. And you need to access that through meditation. When you go deep in meditation, then you go beyond thought, beyond feelings. And that area of our existence is so real, then everything else is just secondary.
Gurudev, before we wrap up this conversation, first of all, I was told that we have 20 minutes, but Gurudev, you've been kind enough to go beyond that. Can you please give 3 mantras for the youth on becoming employable, adding value, and building successful careers or businesses?
First and foremost, you should have the faith you can do it. Self-worthiness is what you should get. Whenever you feel you are worthless, I tell you, you can't do anything. Your energy is bottled, blocked. So first is you believe that you have capacity to do, and you are worthy of it, number one. And if you don't feel that way, just do pranayam and meditation, and immediately you will start feeling that worthiness. Number 2, keep your mind open. Don't be stuck with ideas. Many times for an entrepreneur or even for employability, what you think something and you get so stuck and you want only that. Keep your mind open. You may want some job, but you may get some bigger job, something better than that. Always there is the possibility of something better in life. So don't be stuck with it, number 2. Third is, don't be a rolling stone. If you are too ambitious, you want to do this and that, and you don't get it done, anything done. Inculcate work culture in you. Even if you want to be an entrepreneur, Many times people come and say, I want to start business. But they wake up only at 11 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, have breakfast at 11. And said, how can you don't think entrepreneurship or business gives you freedom? It is less freedom than a job. So if you want to be entrepreneur, you have to have a discipline. You have to wake up early. Early means fairly early. Don't have to wake up at 4 o'clock. You should wake up with the birds. Then you can fly like the birds. But if you wake up in the very late, then only inertia sets in your system. Then you can't be entrepreneur. Even when you want to be entrepreneur, let work culture come into your life. So work somewhere, under somebody. This is very important. Everyone wants to be their own boss, and that is why they want to be entrepreneurs and start a business, and it doesn't work that way. You have to learn to work with somebody, and humility is very, very important.